Sorry, good morning. It's video diary. Mr. Idiot can't work the selfie thingy. Ow. UBK Bosley, if you're watching this, obviously you know that. Good morning to you. This is specifically for two people, specifically in the everybody else who I've invited to see it. So I'm going to cut to the chase. This is nothing. This thing, the situation I'm in, is nothing to do with my background, criminal, wife beating, drunk, or whatever. Because I never have been a wife beater. A couple of people have accused me. My two wives. One many years ago when she was very young, very naive, very petulant, and a lunatic. Was not happy that I left. Wanted to leave, was unhappy, and made me unhappy as a result. It happens. But when it happens to me, it doesn't exist, because I can't be a victim looking like this, and because I'm quite... Are you still limping? Roxy, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. This is about corruption in Exeter City Council, period, end of. Particularly with the people involved with the Arena Park skate park redevelopment. So the video diaries were started, Christ, 7 years ago when I moved here, because once I moved here I wasn't aware that I wouldn't have bought the house, not because of the skate park, but because of items that weren't outlined. Excuse me. I think it's probably more pleasurable to look at a beautiful dog than listen to me. Look at me while I just put it down on record, as it already is and soon to be published. I have reiterated over and over and over and over and over and over and over again that everything, bar nothing, that I claim in any video, apart from historical stuff, but the things pertaining to the events of my property, 39 Summer Lane, and my interaction with the local police, Avon and Somerset Police, would suggest that I have a record which bears no resemblance to the actualities of what I have actually committed, or what I have or have not done in the past. I think it's based on what people have told them I'd love to do, or what I might do, or what I could do. And I think that probably came from my former, my most recent, my second wife, who was... yeah, well, it's not for this, but you know, I accepted what she was, because I assumed she had, well, not accepted, but she had benefit in being with me, and I didn't have, despite my demeanour, I don't have self-esteem, and I understand significant self-esteem, and I understand why. It's normal if you have a childhood and a development as I did. This is nothing to do with the difficulties I had as a child and as an adult growing up, as a result of the vaporisation of my mother, equally by very, very dubious skullduggery by officialdom. If the IRA were responsible solely for that, then, you know, I need to become a drag artist, I think. Complete, what, you know, we are, sorry, I'm not, this is the other thing, I'm not a political person, I'm not an activist, I'm not interested. I have very strong views about right and wrong, cobbled together by my screwed up background. I've tried to impose a few principles on myself. It's taken a while, I'll give you that, but I challenge anybody to have the background that I've had, and not to have found it quite challenging. Boots on the other foot now, because the facts are all there. I have invited the various authorities numerous times to get together and speak to some of the main people involved from the early days, and I would suggest you give them some rigorous questioning, as you would do with me, and start joining some dots yourself, because I suggest you do it quite soon. I've accepted my plight in this matter, and it means that come on then. Oh, sorry, I'm ignoring you. Come here. Where's the frisbee? That goes for. Now, I don't have any credibility now. What worries me more than anything is the fact I don't seem to have any credibility now with Anne, my current probation officer, who I had a lot of store in. She's a decent human being. Jury's out on the first one. The culmination of her ineptitude or lack of foresight or mistake or whatever you want to call it, coupled with the police and their inability to base anything that they give us an account to any magistrate or any tribunal or anybody, anything resembling the truth. You don't deal in the truth, because the truth are things like the fact that your clear up rate in the police, or the amount of crimes that are actually solved or resolved is, or that are not resolved or solved or got to the bottom of. It's like 94%. 94% of crimes go unconvicted, if you will, or whatever the proper phrase is. So I've been made very ill by this endeavour, by this exposure. Probably I knew that was going to be the outcome. I'm not alone in this anymore. Whether this is, if this is other, within other people's desires or agendas, I'll take help from where I can get it at the moment, because my life has been dismantled. This has cost me, I'm starting £300,000 in lost earnings, illness. As a result of the probation officer's mistake, I was sent packing from that building on a day, the probation building, on a day that I turned up with my therapy dog, with Roxy, which in itself is a big expedition, and was given a flea in my ear by this person, despite turning up as informed, with a card handwritten by this individual, with the date, with the time on that card. And I just go, oh, I haven't got time for this. I'll book another appointment. Go get there. Oh, great, okay, well, it's all right, don't worry about it. No inconvenience. I haven't earned any money for 18 months. I'm skint. I've lost everything I've worked for all my life, but don't worry about it. I'll just go home. Well, that was the day I should have been in court. When I should have been in court, I wasn't aware that I was going to hear from the police. Not that I'd done a protest. Yes, drunken, and yes, it was a middle finger up to authority, because I was being chased from the home I'd been working. Not just a home, a sanctuary, somewhere to lick my wounds after. I thought I'd be licking my wounds here, but I didn't realise I had the extra issues with the two closest people to me, my ex-wife and my next brother, my next oldest brother, who looks like me and was a mentor of mine for many years, until he became well, he always was a devious, horrible, selfish, self-centered bastard. That's probably why I used him as a mentor, because I think that's how you have to be in this world. From what I can tell, woe betide you try and be a decent person and try and just live under the radar and be left alone. I'm intimidated by an 85-year-old neighbour next door, because he can throw a punch through the lattice, trellis, or whatever you call it, fencing up, because I was drunk. So look, you don't like me, I get that, leave me alone, just leave me alone. Stop putting your grinders on when I come in the garden. It's silly o'clock in the morning. If I come out here at 5 o'clock, especially when I was working, as soon as I'd come out, sit out here with a cup of tea anywhere, he'd get grinders out, and he moved all his workshop out into the open air. I understand why the man doesn't like me, totally get that. He's had little life experience. He was told by my lovely and never missing an opportunity, because we rehearsed, we went through the same procedure, the barricading in the main bedroom, for no reason at all, because there was a lock on the door, but she would barricade herself in there with Roxy, where are you? Come here, with Roxy, knowing that I wouldn't leave Roxy in a room on the other side of the property. It's not a big place, it's a bungalow. She lives in the front, I live in the summer house at the back. Because I couldn't live with her, because she was an alcoholic, which is why I found out about what was going on, because she lost the discipline to keep with the plan. I know it sounds paranoid. You don't believe it? You should try being where I am. Now, all of that is peripheral. It's nobody else's business. Okay, there's nothing I can do about it. It happened. I survived. I don't know how, and I'm pissed off that I did, if I'm honest, because life would have been a lot easier. She would have been looked after, and I'd have missed out on all this skullduggery. However, I've survived for a reason. This may just be the reason I've survived. Now, the issue here is the interactions I have had initially with Exeter City Council, with David Bartram, with Paul Faulkner, with Alex Bullard, with Phil Biliak and others, and then the subsequent legal actions taken against me when I was rude to them. I was rude to Mr. Bartram, and I called him a slopey-shouldered bastard. Would he inflict, let me turn the camera around, he inflict this same environment on his own elderly parents? You must be a slopey shouldered bastard. Well, if that's offensive, I'll tell you what, being attacked on my drive by two men, one with an axe and one with a hammer, and the police taking 7 weeks and several phone calls, having had a phone call from a neighbour who spotted what was happening, in fact saw the two men sat outside my house in their car, registered to one of them. I know them now because I found out immediately who they were once I'd sent them packing, because people don't like people who fight back. Well, that's why people join the police, of course, because they don't get the chance to fight back. And even if they don't fight back, they get accused of fighting back or preempting a fight back. I did a protest a couple of years ago in 2022, a protest because I was being chased away from this property, which was fine, not a problem. It was only an investment anyway, and somewhere to just lick my wounds and then rent out and travel. But I poured 2 lines of paint out on the pavement outside the drive to emulate not only mine, but not mine really, because you know I can be a bit compos mentis, but I've got people here 85, 88 care workers coming in and out. It's a real lottery, a real roulette wheel at certain times of the day out there. And again, it doesn't have to be. Why does it have to be? Yes, there's an issue. You can't remove the issue completely. You can't. But you can do something, because if one of these poor old bastards clatters a kid out there, excuse me, or, you know, God, a commuter on you should see some of the speeds people go past it, but nobody gives a shit. Let's wait till it happens, exactly as they did with Paul English, whose wife not only is equally responsible for me being here, but she's now suffering a life probably not as miserable as mine because of the actions of these people. But paradoxically, she was shielded from the nuts and bolts of what was happening by her quite upright, upstanding, decent husband, Paul English, who died as a result of these people's actions. Now, that was just a luck of the draw for them, but they intentionally destroyed my life. Now, that's not my opinion. That is not my opinion. That's my experience. But that is the opinion of an increasing amount of people who are acting as advisors and supporters now. Some of whom I know, some of whom I know barely from a long time ago, or different positions that I've had. And some like me, well, sorry, not like me, you know, because of the experiences I've had, they're understandably quite reticent about exposing who they are, because some of the people I do know do have quite a lot of, well, certainly positions to protect. But I think this is something bigger, is the impression I get, because I had no idea how high this goes. And life has been a bit of a learning curve last 59 years, to be honest. Right, come on, baby. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? No, that's just looking at me. That's a different order. Come here. Come here. Where is it? That's it. Good girl. Oh. Right. Sit. Sit down. Good girl. Come on then. Ready? You're going to just catch it. And then we've got to get back to... I've got work to do. Ready? Go. Hey, good girl. Thank you. Include this because I have things to do. The police, by the way, just so I don't forget later, and I just wanted you to see this because prior to our discussions in a couple of days, to say the police over the last several years have acted inconsistently and totally illegally would just, it's like saying the Titanic was a bit of a inconvenience to a lot of people, you know. But again, it's all documented. It's all a matter of black and white. It's all, there's ambulance reports, there's doctors' reports, psychological reports, and the police will claim, well, we had intelligence, he trained as this, that and the other 40 years ago. Well, we sold thousands of people 40 years ago. If you had any intelligence, you would know that that training specifically depends on youth, fitness, etc. Something you don't really have much of when you're 55, 54, 59. So you came to a man who was mentally deranged at that time through alcohol, but through the absolute, I don't know, my vocabulary is not sufficient, but apoplectic doesn't cover it. I don't do revenge anymore. I couldn't go through what I've been through as I was when I arrived here. It would just feel the anger, which it did. But that was only destructive to me, evidently. It won't prove to be that case now, because obviously this has created a lot of interest elsewhere. There will be repercussions. It is likely that there is a chance that I won't live to see them, because I don't think it's going to be overnight. And if the authorities have their way, I'll be going somewhere where they can take care of business, like they did when I was put in Exeter. Yes, I did pour paint on the pavement and cause a big hoo-ha out there. And I did frighten my neighbours, and I always regret that, because this fight was about them. Yes, it was about me, initially. I thought, and then of course you think, well, what about them? They live underneath the thing. You know, these people that are now been made my adversaries by these authorities, by their coercing, to use a phrase that Exeter City Council like to use about me even discussing it back in the day with the neighbours, who would come to me? And so I was scared of walking through the pedestrian tunnel. Well, don't tell me I can't do anything about it. Tell write to the council and tell them, look, you've put a skate park next to a barrel-shaped tunnel. What do you think the skateboarders are going to do when it's wet? Hang about in the skateboard, in the, no pun intended, in the pedestrian tunnel until it gets dry? And they don't probably do any harm. They're going to be noisy because they're kids, but it's intimidating for elderly people whose only interaction with kids of that age is occasionally grandkids now and again, who they probably can only tolerate in small doses a lot of the time when they're that age. It's bollocks. I'm not having it anymore. I don't think I'm going to need to have to soon. Everybody's played to type, including it was required that I play to type as well, and I've done that. And at least my life will have been for something now. Thank you, and God bless you, whoever you purport that to be. Much love. Thank you. Bye bye.